Hello and welcome to the daily poetry writing practice. So to first start us off, we're going to have Marianne Murray tell us what we do. So here you go, Marianne.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Kat. So yes, I wanted to start by telling you what we do. But first I wanted to give a little bit of credit because I actually didn't come up with the concept for this group. This was actually developed by Jane Underwood, who was the founder and director of the Writing Salon in San Francisco. Unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, but her concept, which she called the Daily Round Robin, was you partner with someone every week and you're writing every day, and it rotates through the group so that you have a different partner every week. And as a consequence, you're reading everyone's poetry in the group. And it's transacted entirely over email, where we write to prompts, or maybe not, whatever inspires the poet for that day, and send off the poem and actually get feedback from your partner. And so that's a great thing about it, is that it's just not only a daily writing practice, but you're also getting feedback on your poems. So you have action items that you can take, or you can see what's working in your poem, or maybe, what needs work. Andrea and I, we actually did the round robin for a number of years in a little spin-off group. And we would meet, talk, or just, via email about how great it would be to do this with poets. Because the round robin was any form of writing, fiction, memoir, poetry, anything. And so we've been kind of bandied it about. And then finally this year, we decided that we were going to take the leap and do it. And so we've been meeting since April, and this is our 35th straight week of writing every day. Maybe missing a day here and there, but pretty much every day. And I think that's pretty much it. Am I missing anything, anyone? I think that's the concept. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and kick us off with reading some of your work, and then we're going to have a number of readers. We'll have Marianne Murray, that's you, Kathy Nelson, followed by Bonnie Markowski, Sally Rhoades, Dan Liberthson, Richard Linker, Andrea Pierceall, Karen Hildebrand, and I'll wrap it up, and then we'll chat afterwards. So let's take it away, Bonnie.
Oh,
I mean, Marianne. All right.
Sounds good.
You.
Oh, right. Let me find. Sounds good. Yeah, so as I was putting everything together, it occurred to me that there was kind of a seasonal theme to the structure to the reading. So that is what I have done. And so the first poem is a spring poem, appropriately enough. And it is to a prompt. It's called "Thou Art So Wondrously Frail. I can see right through you, onion skin wings, the velvet of early spring, life materializing." Oh, I should mention something. My poems are really short, so I'm going to be reading a number of them. I just thought I'd give you a heads up. Wings. A white-throated sparrow song enters my morning meditation, floats above all other songs, painting the air in tones decidedly blue, stairs stepping down 3 notes in pitch, ending with a series of who, how I wish someone would answer. There were many things I used to do. I used to breathe freely, never giving a thought to droplets, the spray of exhalations trailing any of us, the clouds we used to pass through like so much air. Surfaces didn't seem as grubby, teeming with microbes, ready to kill you. Small beer. Cheers, we made it, unscathed or scathed in some way from this disastrous past year. Imagine the possibilities, concerts, evenings, readings, movies, eating indoors. I'll have a small beer with that. The second day of summer, a hot, hot day. Emphasis on hot. Nothing moving, everything stifled in the coolest spot available. Calm, even as a storm moseys in, rank with humidity. The thunder weird, elongated and sudden, like someone's upstairs dragging and dropping furniture. Into the distance. Summer in all its buggy, muggy glory, throbbing with insect song. Sunflowers, big as dinner plates. Mountains folding into the distance, into a peach sky. Green on green on green. Pulling carrots. I'm new to gardening. I learn something new every year. This year, thin the carrot seedlings. They're a pathetic lot, the grown carrots, mostly short, stumpy, bifurcated, or having suffered some other injustice of disfigurement, but with a few good ones in there. And every now and then, such a treat, a fresh whiff of carrot. Following the spiders around. I walk through two spiders' webs, putting out the recycling, one of them across the face. I feel like I'm always walking through spider webs, like they're out there everywhere, knitting and waiting. As the stars are my witness. We drive into a blazing sunset, or rather, a blood red sunset, listening to a reading of Poe's The Telltale Heart. But the real horror is in the trees, leafy green, and it's November. Giving thanks. As we pause from stuffing our faces with turkey and gobbling all species of pie and cookie, red and amber glasses lifted in grateful toast, spared another year, having gone the way of the dinosaurs yet. Frost. I'm not ready for winter, I think, as I plop down on an ice-cold toilet seat for my morning pee. The window in a fog of ice, the lawn glazed with frost. Why do people have Christmas stuff out already, I wonder? Barely done with Halloween. Snow. I wake up thinking about how Native Alaskans have dozens of names for snow, and how there are now predictions of more rain than snow in the Arctic in the coming years. This is in my subconscious, even though all I could bear to do was read the headline. Okay, and because I can't end on that note, this last poem is called Down at the Dust Bunny Corral. Isn't it a consequence of our somatic existence? The genesis of so many of our problems. Entropy, knitting its woolly sweaters. A slow motion disorganizing into chaos, from our cells to our sock drawers. Everywhere, out of sight, a layer of dust forming. Every few weeks, I have to beat it back.
All right. That was wonderful. Thank you, Mary Ann. It's so nice because some of those poems were ones that I got to, receive and comment on. So it's just fantastic to hear them read aloud by you. So thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to now move on to our next reader, and that would be Kathy Nelson, right? Right. Okay. Checklist. Okay, so here's Kathy Nelson. Welcome. Take it away, Kathy.
I was delighted when I began looking through the the poem beginnings that I generated during my time with this writing group. And I'd like to read 5 of them as they've evolved into their current state. The arsonist. She threatened the ladies at the lunch table where they lived. She would set the building on fire one night as they slept. She would laugh as they burned, she promised. At home, she used to turn the stove to high, walk away, leave the potatoes to boil dry, then char hard as bricks, the kitchen filling with smoke while she thumbed through magazines. I was the lost child whose mother had gone missing. Her words flared to ash until all she could do was gaze, eyes empty, on the conflagration. She hid her jewelry, stashed money. It could never be found. What are you doing going through my things? Someone was trying to kill her. At the locked unit, she walks the halls, pulls the fire alarm, listens for sirens. Alberto Giacometti, The Palace at 4 a.m. She's become at last a marble statue in her penultimate palace, a Venus shorn of arms, impossible to hug. All that's left of her music is an empty stare. The tower leans strangely since the last disaster. The long dead dove of peace arranged as if it might still fly. And I am the floating glass, nearly invisible, hanging there, offering her reflection. I look again, see it as a chess piece and a wooden spine, a pterodactyl fossil, slender dowels, wire, string, a surrealist vision made of air. My mother isn't even there. Lilacs. I sit at my desk, the bookshelf sagging with words. You speak to me from the wooden coffin under the window. The nightgown you wore as you died, the color of lilacs, your fragrance almost gone from it now. You speak to me from the wooden coffin under the window. I imagine you are the bank of fog settling over the mountain. Lilacs, your fragrance almost gone now. I tracked your slowing pulse above your collarbone. I imagine you have settled. I imagine you have Once you said, oh, we have an audio. I think someone's. I imagine you have settled over the mountain. Once you said, I don't want to go and leave you here alone. Your pulse slowed its beating above your collarbone. Another day you asked, why did you never love me? Once you told me, I don't want to leave you here alone. I'm at my desk, the bookshelf sagging with words. Another day you asked, why did you never love me? The nightgown you wore as you died, the color of lilacs. Don't count your chickens, they say, but what about geese? 8 a.m. and here they are settling in to nap after an hour or two sailing around like elegant little boats, from time to time tipping their tails straight up to reach a slithery morsel below, feet waving like clown hands. Now they float on asphalt next to the pond. Human walkers mince and tiptoe among the squat brown bodies, tucked and folded like into feathered footballs. One or two still grooming, nibbling under the open fan of a wing. I could count them, but did numbers ever spare me hope's deceits or the grief roused by my desires? 14. This morning, a hitch in my leg. I barely can walk. All those early morning prostrations. Now you're standing tall. Now you're stretched out long on the floor. I can never decide how many to do. 14 is an inconvenient number. My mother said dreams were inconvenient, best not to waste your time. I had a dream last night about a retirement home where my husband and I are waitlisted for the roller coaster to the next life. The problem with 14 lines, you have to wrap up pretty quickly. How, when so much is so unclear, between upright and prone, you touch your folded hands to forehead, mouth, and heart. 14 clearly is not enough. Thank you.
You're on mute, Kat. Or whoever's
Thank you.
next.
Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. Are you done? Oh, wonderful. That was great. Kathy Nelson, that was really beautiful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to continue through our reading. And next up, we have Bonnie Markowski. So let me track her down. There she is.
I'm right here.
Okay, Bonnie, thank you. Take it away.
Okay. So this was one that was directly from a prompt. There are no devils anymore. There are no devils anymore. My father went and died today. Took his evil with him, tamper-proof in his fatty liver, broken heart. The station wagon, long gone, today would be upright, no wheels scrambling against blue air, in a ditch, with an engine full of whiskey somewhere. No call in the night ringing dread. Christmas might be what he'd stolen in his bargain with a glass. Mom's tears like mine, hot and thin, running toward a light present before the tired moon became a constant in our sky. This is my very first attempt at a persona poem, and it's from the viewpoint of Susan Dickinson, Emily Dickinson's sister-in-law, White, from Susan. If Emily and I walked down the garden path, pale clouds rolling overhead, would the baby's breath blink their tiny eyes sniggering at us as we pretend to talk about baking white bread? Would they hear me whisper, "Dear Emily," the pale yeast rises in me, a terror, and grows like Tom's inattention. In the punching down, I see his anger, and I know it will grow again to smother me, each bubble in the proving dough betraying a secret. If she held my pallid hand and promised, "I'll free you from the evergreens, dear Susie," would the Coosa dogwood pity us and tell the fat hydrangea our plan is futile? "Dear Susan," Emily would ask, "can you pretend you're wiping flour off my snowy dress, both bleached in the dread, then secretly hold my hand asking, 'Dear Susan, is my verse alive?'" I would tell her, "It lives in the flowers. The lily of the valley bells ring it quietly. Mount Hood daffodils shout it through megaphones. They talk about the shape of your words on their mouths as they breathe spring into existence. Their voices shimmer, turn to fragrance, then drift to dove's nests screaming color." Soft pockets. This morning, I want to drop my knives, bury my hatchet hands in soft pockets. Let them rub against an easy seam. Or at least, I want to stop cutting at you, Rest my ferocious fists in the soft pockets of your gardening jeans. Roll your pocket knife and coins between my fingers, not remembering. I want to climb away from the granite feelings, use my hands for kneading bread, clay, hard stances. As you lay now in the soft pocket of memory, I want to lick pink cotton candy from a paper cone, rebuffing the too sweetness of it. Twirl in a gingham dress mommy made. Say, Daddy, look at my patent leather shoes. Dance around the ballroom like a small princess balanced on your clumsy feet. You white-knuckled the course, raged, refused to physically repel over the edge, though your awareness leapt long ago. I hung on too, to the tight, stubbly braid of your dying, firmly fearing I'd be taken up with you. So jungled together were our angsts, like knotted hairs needing a good brushing 100 times a night with a boar bristle brush before I went to sleep in the soft pockets of what you could not be. And this is my last one, kicking the meds. Day 1, like running a marathon obstacle course in a foreign country. You don't speak the language and the people are strange. I try to put my feet in the tires, but the ground heaves. I fall. Sorry, I can't cook dinner. I'm down. Day 2, down. Lichen grows on my brain. The tiny roots embed themselves in the gray matter, spreading like my neurotransmitters never could. The day doesn't move. Then it's night and takeout containers pile up. Day 3. My eyes don't want to be exposed to life. They want to retreat, lids closed, to a place they knew. Afternoon moves in slow motion. The brain tries to download the software, but the beach ball keeps spinning. Day 4. The whispers scream, stop yelling. I flicker in and out of the world like an octopus undulating under green. Coffee tastes like acid, sound hurts, the waves like nausea, move through, then out. That's not what I meant, I say again, again, again. Command, option, escape, force, quit. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Bonnie. That was beautiful. All right. Thank you. It was great to hear your voice and great to see you. So hang on, and I'm going to remove your pen. And next up, please welcome to our stage, Sally Rhoades. There she is, Sally.
So nice to see everyone's faces. Yeah, so nice to see everyone's faces.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Bonnie. I'm going to start. I just got back. I'm also a dancer, and I just got back from New York after I've been down there the 4th time. Today I was down dancing, our last dance before the year ends. And I love the prompts because it brought me out of myself, really brought me out. So this is called the We Are the Village. The dancers I dance with at St. Mark's Church, or walk up the 4 flights of stairs at Eden's Expressway, or dance at the Gibner as we do at the Bill Young studio at 100 Grand. There are many small studios throughout the city in Queens and Brooklyn. Movement research commands the schedules of each teacher teaching at certain times in certain places. I am lucky to be a part of this wonderful village. It is a village of dancers. We dance bare feet with this choreographer and that choreographer who live in New York or come from all over the US and the world as international students do. We share dance, the joy of dance, the discipline of dance, our bodies to turn, twist, jump, land, and twirl in a spiral. We all show up to dance, to move, to make our spirits soar. There is Simone Forti, Deborah Hay, Anna Halprin, Lisa Nelson, and the regulars. Vicky Schick, Jeremy Nelson, Neil Greenberg, Terry O'Connor. I dance as I churn internal suffering. I dance as I find my joy. I dance to begin to know. I dance to begin to dance, to stay current. I dance to socialize. I dance to find the fluid in the movement, the connection of my body to the movement. There has been a long list of dancers threading the needle to success. My success is craving the world I exist in, to stop the glamorization of dance and make it about truth, challenge, belief. I believe in the body's intelligence, in its form to balance heartbreak and laughter, curiosity and ennui, courage and humiliation. It is the awful we dance and the truth we dance. We dance mind-boggling. We dance ever ready. We dance to believe, to disbelieve, to hunt the obvious. It is the sweetness of moving that keeps us there, interacting with our feet, moving, sliding on the floor, our arms swinging, our head lifting in the air, the sweet sunshine of being in one motion, one vibe. Thank you. Yeah. The next one is a little bit of a funny one. My guess was wrong. It's been known to happen that I am wrong. It's usually when I'm dead sure that I am right. My family and I were in Ireland on vacation. We were going off to see the Cliffs of Moher. Before we left, I was looking in the gift shop of the hotel. They had postcards of the Cliffs of Moher. All it was a flat rock. I told my family, there's no cliffs. It's just a big flat rock. Mom, it's called Cliffs of Moher, my daughter said. I know, but it's not, I said. I saw the picture of them. My other daughter rolled her eyes. My husband chuckled. You'll see, I said. We drove our car up a mountain road, around curve after curve. We climbed and climbed. Finally, we arrived on the top of a cliff looking down. I guess there are cliffs, Mom, my daughter said. I burst out laughing. I guess there are cliffs. It is a story they haven't let me forget. Sure, Mom, just like the Cliffs of Moher weren't cliffs. I even laughed writing this poem. Thank you. The next one is the very first one I wrote with Mary Ann, who invited me. And it was the only one I ever changed the prompt. And I don't even know what the prompt was, but I danced with Druids. In my slumber, as my muscles twitch, strengthen, awaken in all their glory, I am smitten with the attitude of my hometown Druids who dance and spiral north and south, east and west as they gather the gold of voices spoken through others, as I am engulfed in joy in its lasting timber. When all is said and done, I bequeath my knowledge so others may dance a fraction of their heart. There are no words to speak when the body has it right. Glimmers in starlight, moonlight, the often firefly, that gathers dusk. I am myself, I am when the Druids dance, all of my awakening to their sweet succor and chariot to lift me to the sky and back on that night when music played in my ear and catastrophe kept its distance in the open air. Ah, to dance with the Druids is oft compared to starlight. So thank you. I think I'm gonna, just gonna end with this next poem. Long shadows pointing east. When we walk holding hands, the sun setting, our shadows long and lean smirk back at us. Life is lived holding hands. We are known by colleagues as a couple always holding hands. My niece drives by and stops to say hi, my favorite walkers, she calls us. We smile and catch up on her news. Our two grown daughters live east of us in Boston. They carry our smiles, our easy way with people, our love of outdoors and our curiosity to travel. They possess as easily as our brown eyes, my husband's curly hair. Our love guides our world from Cyprus, where my husband was born, in the most northern New York, where I was born. We travel back and forth. My father, a hot rod driver, his father, an ambassador. My mother a nurse, his mother a teacher, and we amble on. We find the sweet spots and deliver our equation of happiness, education, kindness, generosity, autonomy. Both our families gifted us these, and we pass them on. Thank you so very much. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was great. Okay. Thank you very much, Sally. And here we go. Loved your work about dance, and love to hear some of these prompts that I have forgotten about. Okay, so thank you. Next up, we have Dan, and I'm going to ruin his last name, but don't let me. Dan Liberthson.
You got it.
All right. Woo. Okay, Dan, take it away.
Okay. Today's forecast, a 90% chance of sadness. The South Wayne County Fair is depleted this second year of the reign of terror by the virus thought vanquished, but now risen again and surging with a vengeance. The many animals exhibits 3 years ago have dwindled to a few who try gallantly to stand in for those missing. A sweetly curled hedgehog named Hedgie, a lonely mule who sits behind a fence waiting for someone like me to scratch his head, and all around his outsized ears that remind me of bottoms, assorted roller pigeons and bunnies, one a stunning blue point who rushes forward, snout wrinkling at me in a rabbit smile, a lovely Nubian goat with markings like marble cake, a thick snake that slides toward me in its terrarium. I like skin decorations undulating for my pleasure. Even several collected moths pinned hopeless behind glass, black false eyes unwinking on beige wings, try to look alive. Fellow creatures all, they do their best to revive me, but fail. An obese old lady in a wheelchair is selling beaded cupcakes. Have a good day, I say, with fake cheer to make up for not buying. Like I always say, she replies, any day above ground is a good day. I see you. The full moon, playing peekaboo, hides behind branches, then pokes out to airmail its beaming presence, just as your face, mother, broad and white, glowed between spread fingers. Your life set long ago, and this moon will follow. But first it leaves gifts, bittersweet memories, and a tear. Yet the moon appears too small, as if seen through the wrong end of a telescope, shrunk to a size just a few times bigger than this tear that refuses to drop. That's how I see you now, mother, reduced at the far end of my long tube of life, set loose from the bond I forced on you, free to sink into the black lake of space and never surface again. But that won't happen because I can't let you go. I'm grateful to the moon for this vestige of you, even as remote as you've become, repelled by my unorthodox course that took me so far from the shore of your wishes where I first set sail. The dense load of my life fell between us, yet the cord that has always joined us stretches unbroken across 5 decades. Despite everything I blame you for, I have no choice but to go on loving you. The powers. The night sky holds still, fat and liquid, expectant, a black inverted bladder hugely poised overhead. I want to tell you, feel it, a surge is coming, but the heavy air weighs down my words. A charged kriss rips the sky's dark belly, which blossoms with a flash of white blood. Black seals the wound, but an ozone scent lingers and sizzling afterglare floats before my eyes. The knife scrapes rain from the night's hide, and we are soaked and running for shelter. I think of John Weir climbing to the tops of storm-thrashed trees to feel the wind's power, wrapped with lightning's searing ecstasy, a prophet sent to wake our respect for nature's transcendent power. Weir, who fought dams, exploitation, the preening culture of waste, who knew if mankind didn't listen, we'd someday be stunned by recoil from the blast of our mindless actions. But you and I have fled, caring only to be warm and dry and watch from behind a window, sipping cocoa. Blues man. You've got to play the blues to beat the blues. He knows this truth already at age 5. Rubbed raw by cotton bristles, he learns on a board with nail-wound wires, scrapes up cash to buy a cheap axe, grows and knows he must leave or die, picks up licks and joints on the road from the deep South to Chicago clubs, fingertips bloody now from picking strings, till they harden and bend the rough notes that wring out his grief like hot sweat and draw out the pain of any who listen, till all their troubles swirl in a cauldron in the space between stage and seats, where heartache morphs from bitter to sweet. For the potion of the blues frees us more than drink or a fight or howls in the night. This is the last one, called, somewhat humorously, foot-in-mouth disease. Kathy yelled at me, "Come downstairs." Our old friend Dan had FaceTimed her to say that he had prostate cancer. Her tiny phone conveyed just his head and left behind his full presence, so disorienting me that I blurted out, "Bummer, man." That doltish cliche poked up its ugly head just when I should have said something at least empathic if I couldn't manage consoling. Trying to recoup, I said, "Nearly every older man gets it, and in 99% it's trapped there, harmless." He went quiet for a long second. "Well, I'm the 1%. It's spread." I keep up with medical news and thought I knew something, so I blathered on. "There's chemo, radiation, new meds. They're getting lots of cures." The little face smiled ruefully, the face that full and real had shared so many warm and festive times. My surgeon said, "It's too late for all that." I stared at this gadget that held his head, powerless to make things better. Information wouldn't help, or feelings, no way to share them, put my arm around it. Sensing my discomfort, this kind man spoke softly and let me off the hook. "You know, it really is a bummer, man." Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you, Dan. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Okay. We
I have to say my goodbyes, and I'm
okay.
so sorry.
Thank you for being with us, Sally, and nice to see you.
You too,
Bye,
and I will
Sally.
see you all somewhere. Nice.
Okay, see you again
Thank you.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay,
Dancer life boy.
right. We have 4 readers left. Our readers are Richard Linker, Andrea Pierceall, Karen Hildebrand, and me. So let's start now with Richard. Hello, Richard. Hi. Are you there? We need you to turn off your mute.
I thought
there
you
you
had
go.
me unmuted.
Perfect.
Muted.
Okay. All right, take it away, Richard. All
Well,
right.
first, thank you for inviting me, considering I actually dropped out of the group, but I appreciate the invite, chance to read with you all. So the first poem, the prompt for it was, I'll drink to that. Moon River. I think it was Li Po who got drunk and drowned trying to embrace the moon that floated on the river. Mooncalf, poet, fool, now water weed streaming in the current. I'll drink to that. Next poem, I think the prompt was Just in Time. That's the title of this poem too. Just in Time. A boulder in Central Park, surfaced and cracked far deep in time. Grass grows in that crack, its roots chemical hammers widening the gap imperceptibly until one day the stone will fall open like an apple on its continuing journey to dust. Right now, I'm just watching this step on the way. This next poem, the prompt was Silence of the Druids. After the museum in Bath. I laid in the grass, Stonehenge behind me, watching a fly crawl up a blade. It seemed not long for this world. An old Roman tile we had seen stuck in my mind, the imprint of a dog's paw, all that remained of a moment. After a long time, I thought about finding Sam, who I'd let wander the stones. But instead, I remained on my back, soaked in the silence of the wind-driven clouds and the chuckling jackdaws. The prompt for the next one was Down at the Dust Bunny Corral. Destroyer of Worlds. The dust bunnies have drifted deep. Slow as summer clouds, fluffy domains of biting mites have tumbled under the bed and multiplied, teeming. Myriad pinhead galaxies shudder at my approach, vacuum in hand. It is the end of worlds, cannot be helped. To live is to deal destruction. Next, I'll play Rain God to my garden. The next poem, the prompt was Someday, Maybe Today, and that's the title of this poem. Someday, maybe today. I hope my neighbors think I'm just a pothead, not a slob, when they walk through my messy apartment. My cat I take care of. The dishes I don't. The dust is biblical. It's hopeless. Someday, maybe today, I'll clean the kitchen. That's it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Richard.
Thank you.
Oh, and so nice to meet you too. It's so nice to see you in person. So, all right. Well, we're gonna continue on, and thank you. Our next reader is Andrea. Where is she? There she is. Hi, Andrea.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
What
And
a joy, everybody. I just love seeing everyone.
yes, it's so
Wonderful.
great.
Thank you, Kat, for organizing us. This is what I wrote today. So this is, I don't even know what the prompt was because I don't pay attention to them. But here's for today. It's called Just Saying.
Thank you, Andrea, because they were mine this week.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just never use them unless I'm really, really stuck. But it sounds like Dust Bunnies was a prompt somewhere along the line since we've had some Dust Bunny poems. This is called Just Saying. Everything means something when you're in therapy, so I decide to just tell it like it is. And I say I can't stand the way he smells or the way he breathes, how he feels like a bug on my back. And then the therapist says she can't talk to us if I'm seeing someone else. And I think, of course, I'm seeing someone else, and I'm not just seeing them. I'm breathing their air, looking at the world from their eyes. My heart beats to the same rhythm as theirs. So thanks very much for your help. After only one session, I know I don't want to be married anymore, and there is nothing to save here. Wow, no self-examination, no crying, no recriminations, just moving on. But I don't tell her all the secrets that led me here, how wounded I felt by him, because I knew that a few weeks after we were married. So I just let them both think it was because I fell in love with someone else, without saying I fell out of love with him a long time ago, and it took me 25 years to pack my bag. This second poem is called The Cowboy, and it got a very rough start in the Daily Ride, and now it's been revised and revised, and now it's being submitted. So this is the final version of what started in the Daily Ride. It's called The Cowboy. The man is big and sturdy, standing in line at the airport coffee kiosk in his jeans and cowboy hat, a silver buckle on his belt the size of my fist. His hands are bigger than the bills he holds. He orders a latte with 3 shots and smiles while he waits. I watch him closely, drawn to the lifelines of his face. I follow the path from the upturned corners of his mouth to the brown of his eyes. My husband died a few years ago from a disease no one understood. I hated the doctors who pretended they were fixing him by making him suffer. I see the cowboy later at baggage claim with his hint of a smile. He's alive, more real than my husband tonight and every night. I want to believe in everything again as I watch the cowboy stride from the curb to the cab, each muscle of his legs married to the next, as he swings his bag onto the back seat and slides with ease. Then the cab merges left and left. The taillights shine red, and he grows smaller and smaller. I write about death a lot. So this next one is a little more lighthearted. And it's just a scene in nature. This is called The Ultimate Intimacy. A just fallen leaf lying over a thimble's worth of water to save the iridescent beetle who doesn't know how to swim. And this is my last one, and I've called it Some Days. Some days you are only a passing thought. I live with an ordinary rhythm. No one knows that your atoms float around me, guiding me as the stars once steered sailors. I know you must have cringed in the clouds when I gave away your cowboy hats, the record collection, the books, worn copies of Hemingway, Wodehouse, Rilke. Still, you cling to me like static electricity, sparks of forgiveness. Some days, every sound is you talking to me. The wind chimes whirling without wind, the fronds of the fern tapping me when I pass, the morning light drifting from your side of the bed to mine, draping over me like the warmth of an arm. For a long while, the world held only what was missing, every day a tear of too much time. I wonder what you do when you're not with me, free of a body, bones, hair, and teeth. Some days I buy your favorite tulips, long-stemmed, French. The heads slowly droop, lying on the table like each long second of the day. I rest my head upon the scattering of petals and tell myself to breathe. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you. That was beautiful. Okay. I'm gonna go on to now to our next reader. And that would be the person who actually invited me to the group. This is Karen Hildebrand. I call her Cowett. So anyway, thank you, Karen, and take it away.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to see you all. I'm struck as I'm listening how that all of our voices are so different. And yet you can hear that these trails of similarities because we shared the prompts and the prompts all came from, we all wrote to these prompts.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. This is called Beasts. They ate everything we tried to grow. Dark doe eyes trained on the door, half ready to run, half looking for a bite. Crocus, tomato, tulip, lawn, not geranium. So we filled the planters with flashy dancers, thick-limbed and bony. On the house, we taunted our guests as they shat little tents in the buffalo grass. Raccoons helped themselves to the hot tub, left tippy taps in the snow. One rainy night, a snake squeezed between door and jamb. A nest of baby mice barely escaped the mowing blade. Our neighbor's collie scooped one squirming into her mouth. Over strong objection, trotted away. This one is to the rescue. To the man in the news who pried a rabid bobcat from his wife's shoulder with bare hands. Where are you? Where are you with your concealed carry permit registered to Happy? I am certain a man named Happy would never address me as Pooch Belly Karen, even behind my back. I am certain Happy would give Pooch Belly Karen a kidney without so much as a pause to check his wallet, should she have to ask. What is wrong with me? No one to carry a plate of brownies. No hand to bite when mad with grief. This one is inspired by a poem by Stephen Dunn, who died earlier this year. It's called In Medias Res. The speaker, as a young boy, asks to see his mother's breasts. He says because of his mother, he was easily able to love women. Then there's the motherless state in which I left my son. I know I am not an easy woman to love. My father had mother love, from what I can tell, entering as I did in medias res. Though I don't believe Helen would have gone so far as to open her blouse. There are other ways to give mother love. Though being an orphan herself, maybe she wasn't in the best position. So what if I had a father who wasn't doomed and a son who is? What about me? Family poker night, staring down at the cards fanned out in my hand. Dad on one side, jabbing a finger at my best play. Helen on the other, scooping in her haul. Waiting and waiting for someone to make love easy. Visiting my 91-year-old mom at the rehab center. We face off heavyweight to flyweight. Mom's chair leather, mine mesh. She punches her tea mug down, sending the cart into a spin. I'm sparring with the best. 100 degrees, arid Colorado heat. Mom approaches the ring in a droopy sweater, ankles blown twice normal. Just then a glittery girl dances in with a dinner tray. Ding, ding, round one. Chunks of beige on a slice of beige. Pumpkin pie panting in the corner. Plastic iced tea drenched in sweat. I dab with a tissue. Ding, ding. I realize this is a reprise of our great match, 51 years ago today. Me in labor, her full body clinch. I risk a little trash talk. Remember? But why give her an edge? And I'm going to end with this little short one. Pomegranate. Oh, my pretty bud, don't dwell on the wind too long. This is a day to open your pores. Ginger, a little garlic, jalapeno zest. Fresh yellowfin tuna, crimson at center, a shade just out of my grasp. Not watermelon, not cherry. What's the one with tart seeds that leak down your chin? It's all jazz to the tongue. I pin butterflies to a board, trying to stop time.
All right, Karen. Wow, fantastic. Way to go. I love these pieces. Since you've now been out of the group for a little while, or on rest, I like to say, because I always assume everybody's going to want to come back someday because they love it so much. It's really nice to hear your work. So we are now on our final reader, and it's me. So I'm going to go ahead and read, and then after I finish, let's just chat briefly and like that. What I like is that the prompts are always fun, and it's fun to me to use the prompts in interesting ways. This one is, the prompt was buttery. Note to the landlord: what were you thinking when you rented apartment one to three 23-year-old bras fresh from the fraternity, wild lacrosse teammates, beer guzzling sports bros with psycho girlfriends who have so far shattered the front door and stolen our doorbell when we failed to buzz them in at 4 a.m? What do they teach you in landlord school about ideal tenants versus these dudes? Did you miss that lesson? Or did one of these slicks slap on a buttery face before signing the master lease and pocketing the keys? Did he call you sir? Did you like that? Well, sir, you blew it. 2 to 3 cases of beer a day does not imply happy ending. Give it 2 months, 3 tops, and the havoc will be wreaking. Parties, unusual pets, friends of friends of friends moving in, girls passed out on the stairway, calls to the cops, ambulances, fire engines, circus performers, empty cans of hard seltzer, and beer, beer, beer in every crevice. Is this really what you want for your building? Think about it. When they duck out on their lease, which could be in about a week, consider renting to some nice, sane, quiet older couple, childless, who just want a decent place to live, not an extension of their college dorms. I don't need any more stepsons. Sincerely, your suffering tenant in Unit 3. P.S. The doorbell is still broken. Any chance? Didn't think so. All right. This one's called The Food of Love. They say smoke from this year's fires contains trace elements of things no human should inhale, including lead particles, ammonia, bicarbonate of soda, tears of a forest, sorrow of stones, the remains of a carved heart with the initials TJ plus JM, the blue sound of a mountain breeze no longer blowing, and the moans of a future generation, wondering what it was to be lost in the woods, but for the breadcrumbs you scattered on the trail to find your way back home. This is called Sock It to Me. Back when we were held together by thread, gathered at parks in Berkeley, Chicago, New York, patches sewn on jeans, fists needling the air, peace buttons stitched on jackets, knotted together by veins and umbilical cords, tie-dyed eyes looking over our shoulder for the man who called us paranoid, even as he raised his camera, his baton, his gun. We were us then, and we were strong. Sock it to me. I can dig it. He can dig it. We can dig it. Dig. Can you dig it, baby? Spiders spin webs and people spin yarns, and both are easily broken by clubs at first, then time, hard time, a lifetime of thinking the issues were all sewn up. The draft did end. Schools did integrate. Women gained the right to leave their sewing basket behind and work and drink and whisper, I am, ever louder, until the tables toppled and the fabric ripped and the madmen who hold the strings of our embroidered life grew bored or impotent or maybe just old enough to feel it, old enough to look at grandsons and history books with their names fading like penciled marginalia. Our own echoed words sound like a curse woven into a tapestry that now appears to be pure decoration, a hem unraveling an era. Sock it to me. No one says that anymore. Let the unwinding begin. On the Fire. This starts with an epigraph from Marge Piercy. We grew up in Disneyland with ads for friends and believed we could be made new by taking a pill. Everything before brought me to this dance. And yes, I love to dance. I was born for it. Flitting light-footed in a dark, crowded room filled with heavy bass, beaten drums, soaring guitars, mumbled scream sing of a non-pop rock goddess. I was born in Disneyland with ads for friends, but I passed on them and bit into an apple that led to long drives and late nights, interviews on cardboard boxes in smoky green rooms, left hand bottle of Bud, right hand pen and paper to capture set lists, shorthand thoughts illuminated by thunderous audio systems. Yes, I once crawled into a bass amp during a show just to get closer to the music, move inside the music, eliminate the border between the music and me, because music, like poetry, like art, contains all the answers without the annoyance of questions. Music is the mud we crawled out of, the mud that holds a brick wall together, mud of clubs and mud of spades and mud that is comfortable to sink into, easier to digest than explanation. In a world of so much reason, music is a respite, a soft glade to slide through, to dance in. Music is the muscle of the fire we are on. The rest is just the killing field. Where are you staying tonight? And the last one, Meet You There. The little cafe on the corner is a butterfly. It's the touch of a stranger's hand. Warm is first love, lost love, old love, hope. It is a place of worship, a stadium, a universe, is a confessional, a therapist's office, a place to gaze into eyes and saucers, musing. It is a place of memory where a child's laughter echoes and embraces, where friendships form and dreams are devoured and renewed. It is a place of language and chess, of decisions and deliberations, of nightingales and mockingbirds, of kinship and separation. It is a crossroads, a gathering place, a place that all the maps and time forgot. Few remember where it is. I'll meet you there anytime.